Good morning, and welcome to the Universalist Church Online, in which love is the Spirit. We are glad you are here, whether you're in one of the few in the building today or anywhere in the world. I'm the Reverend Dr. Adam Robersmith, the senior minister of this congregation. If you are visiting with us, have found us for the first, second, or maybe third time today, we hope you'll visit our webpage. It's www.westhartforduu.org to learn more about us. There you can use the contacts page to get onto our electronic mailing list. Our electronic communications are our best way of staying connected with you. We look forward to helping you become part of the Universalist Church, no matter where you are. We are worshiping online again until this pulse of the pandemic is over. Since we seem to be on the downswing, we hope that this will wrap up sooner rather than later, and we will return in person and maintaining our live stream as soon as things improve sufficiently. After worship, we are going to go into our budget ratification meeting, in which members can vote. So anybody who has the Zoom link through their newsletter from us or through their emails is welcome to come, but only members are allowed to vote on our budget. You'll find the link for that in an email that went out specifically to our members and active friends. If you are not getting our weekly news, please do sign up for it on our website. I invite you to take a moment to make any mobile phones you happen to have sitting around you silent, turn off your email, put away your keyboards, and settle in for worship. If you have a home chalice, I invite you to light it with me as I light the chalice of our congregation. And we light this in the spirit of improvisation, of trying something new, of seeing just what happens when we say yes. The spirit of experimentation, of possibility, of hope. In the spirit that out of every strange moment can come something delightful, something powerful, something completely worthwhile, even if unexpected. No matter where we are, we have the option of finding a way to make the world different together. Let us begin. Our opening hymn is number 1012 in the Teal hymnal. If you happen to have one at home, you are welcome to sing along with us. It is called When I Am Frightened.
Sing to me quietly, will you share
Please join me in speaking the words of our affirmation, our covenant. It's printed in the description. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Our time for all ages today is a story by Chen Ji Wen. It's called Guji. There was an egg, and it was just rolling around on the ground. It rolled through the trees, it rolled across a meadow, and finally it just rolled right into a duck's nest. Mother Duck didn't really notice because she was reading. So she just kept sitting comfortably, adjusting every so often, and soon enough, the eggs began to crack. And the first duckling to hatch had blue spots, so Mother Duck called him Crayon. The second duckling had brown stripes. That one is Zebra, Mother Duck decided. The third duckling was yellow, but a pale yellow, and so Mother Duck named him Moonlight. And then the fourth duckling that hatched from the other egg was even a little stranger than these others. He said, Guji, and that became his name. So Mother Duck taught her 4 ducklings how to swim, and how to dive, and how to waddle. And Guji always learned just a little more quickly than the others. It turned out that he was bigger and stronger too, no matter how quick they were, or what any of them looked like. Mother Duck loved all of her ducklings just the same. And then, one terrible day, 3 crocodiles came out of the lake, and they looked a lot like Guji. The crocodiles were smiling, and then they laughed, and with their mouths wide open, the whole world could see all of their pointy teeth. The 3 crocodiles saw Guji and smiled some more. Look at that ridiculous crocodile! He's walking like a duck! Guji heard them from a little while away. I'm not walking like a duck. I am a duck, Guji explained. And the crocodiles laughed. No, look at yourself. You have no feathers, you have no beak, you have no big webbed feet. What you have is blue-gray skin, sharp claws, pointed teeth, and the smell of bad crocodile, just like us. The first crocodile said, your blue-gray body lets you hide underwater without being seen, so you can get really close to those fat, delicious ducks. And the second crocodile said, big, sharp claws help you hold fat, delicious ducks tightly so they can't get away. And the third crocodile said, pointed teeth are necessary so that you can chew on these fat, delicious ducks. Yes, yum! And the 3 crocodiles grinned. We know you live with the ducks. Take them over to the bridge tomorrow and practice diving. We'll wait underneath with our mouths wide open. Why would I do that? Said Guji. Why would I listen to you? Because we are all crocodiles, and crocodiles always help each other. And the crocodiles grinned again and then disappeared into the water. Guji felt terrible. He sat down by the lake to think, is it true? Am I a bad crocodile? He looked down into the lake and saw his reflection and tried to make the fiercest face he could. And then he saw himself and he burst out laughing. He looked absolutely ridiculous. I'm not a bad crocodile. I'm not exactly a normal duck either. But those 3 crocodiles are nasty, and they want to eat my family. I'm not going to help. I need to find a way to stop them. So Guji thought and thought until he had a really good idea. He went home happy. And that night, the 3 bad crocodiles sharpened their pointed teeth, all the while thinking of fat, delicious ducks. So the next day, Guji did as he'd been told. The 3 bad crocodiles were waiting for the ducks underneath the bridge, but it wasn't fat, delicious ducks that dropped down from the bridge, diving into the water. It was 3 big, really hard rocks. And the crocodiles grabbed those rocks without even looking and bit down as hard as they could, and crack, crunch, splat went their pointed teeth. And the 3 bad crocodiles ran away as fast as they could, because Guji had saved the ducks. Guji had saved his family, and he continued to live with his mother and his siblings, and every day he became a stronger and happier crocoduck. And that's the end of the story. We are grateful for all the ways in which you support us and one another. By offering your time, talent, and treasure to this community, you help us serve our members, friends, and our wider world. As part of that service, we share our general offering each week with the organizations that are in harmony with our values, who do work in the world that brings us ever closer to creating beloved community. We know it's harder to give when you're not here in the building, but I want to encourage you, especially today, to go to our website to find our links for electronic giving. After this storm that just blew through, and we got lucky, it could have been much worse right here where we are. This is a month in which we're sharing our offering with Operation Fuel. Operation Fuel was founded in 1977 after a worldwide oil embargo caused an unprecedented escalation in the price of home heating. It is the country's oldest fuel fund, and it provides year-round emergency energy assistance to every city and town in Connecticut. They advocate for more than just fuel policies. They actually also help people move out of homelessness, educate clients about energy efficiency, and provide a fund to help people pay their utility bills, keep their houses warm all winter long. Each year, they provide more than $2.4 million to nearly 19,000 people across the state. So please do look for QR codes, links, our website with our Donate Now or Give Now buttons, and make sure that you give to our Sunday offering so that we can help support those who need some extra heat and warmth this winter. Thank you. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for helping us to help others. Our reading this morning is number 462. If you have a gray hymnal at home, please feel free to follow along and speak the words with me. These are the words of Paul Robeson. I shall take my voice wherever there are those who want to hear the melody of freedom, or the words that might inspire hope and courage in the face of despair and fear. My weapons are peaceful, for it is only by peace that peace can be attained. The song of freedom must prevail. Let us sing together our doxology. The words are in the description.
Praise God for love we all may share. Praise God for beauty everywhere. Praise God for hope of good to be. Praise God for truth that makes us free. Amen.
For our time of prayer and meditation today, I have a number of things to share with you on behalf of the community. And because we are live streaming to the whole world, we only share first names and last initials during this time. But if you wish to know more or aren't sure who we are talking about, please do contact me directly. You can reach me by email, or you can leave a message on my church phone. You can also look for our Passages monthly news that will come out a little later this month. And that way you'll find out who has been in need or has had something to celebrate. And so today, first, Lucille G. requests that we send positive healing thoughts for her brother-in-law, Joe. He has stage 4 pancreatic cancer, and for her sister, Tony, Joe's caregiver and spouse. Karen H. asks for prayers for her nurse, Kim, and Kim's family as her father died last week. We also remember Martha Healy, Karen and Sarah's mother, who died. Gus and Joe K.L. are grieving the death of Jane, Gus's mother, who died on Friday. And we ask that you please hold Nan R. and her daughter Julia, her son Grantland, and their families in your thoughts and prayers as they grieve Clark R.'s death. Clark died surrounded by family in the early morning hours on Thursday at St. Francis. A memorial service will be planned once the church is able to bring people back into the sanctuary together. If you wish to send any cards, please do send them to Grantland. His address is in our database. Nan's memory loss is profound enough that she won't fully understand why she's receiving these cards, but it would be wonderful for the family to receive them through Grantland. Let us hold all of these people in our hearts and our prayers. Spirit of life, Spirit of love and of memory, help us in moments of loss. Be with us when things change in ways we wish they wouldn't. Hold tight to our spirits and our hearts, soothing us, allowing us the ability to grieve, and reminding us of all of the good, all of the joy, all of the love. Help us to find our way forward, Just as living things grow, just as vines reach out, just as branches keep going, let us too find our way forward. Whether we have lost someone in this moment, or we are struggling because of a couple of years of pandemic life, or for any other reason at all. Spirit of life, Spirit of love, Spirit of hope and possibility, help us to find our way forward. Let us take a time together in stillness for the prayers of our hearts. Where we need rest, may we find it. Where we need community, may we be held by it. Where we need hope, may we reach for it and grasp it, and then let it fly so that we may follow it forward too. May our lives be filled with possibility, even amidst everything else that occurs. Blessed be. Amen. Our first reading today is adapted from Beyond the Pulpit by the Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt. I remember when I was still in seminary and an occasional guest preacher. One Sunday morning, I arrived about an hour before the service in a place where I had a hard time communicating with my main contact person for the church. I'd arrived with all my materials for worship at the ready, extra copies of readings, assuming that the woman that I'd been working with would share leadership of Sunday morning worship. I asked her which aspects of the service she might want to lead herself, a question I'd been asking several weeks by email. And she just gave me this look, and then she paused. And then she asked, "I'm sorry, isn't that why we're paying you this morning?" I have since learned that about 90% of the work that ministers do is never seen by the vast majority of a church community, classroom, congregation where they work. So much of professional ministry is preparation, meetings with small numbers of people, one-on-one support, administration, work with staff, and many of you rarely actually see those things. More importantly, even if ministered excelled as individuals at every one of those types of responsibilities, we still couldn't fully serve the needs of the church. Yes, we're paid to take professional responsibility, but we cannot do this work without the rest of the staff, and certainly not without all of you. Our second reading is entitled, "What is Your Ministry?" by the Reverend Dr. Bruce T. Marshall. Leadership in a Unitarian Universalist congregation involves ministry. Not just those who are ordained, but everybody has a ministry. So what is yours? Now, all ministries are not the same. In Paul's letter to the Romans, he observes, we have different gifts based on the grace that was given to us. We have different talents, and so there are many ways of having a ministry. Evangelical Christians are good at recognizing this. They're really good at extending the concept of ministry to everyone. A church consultant once told of working with a super mega congregation, something like 10,000 members and growing. And he described wandering through the building late one night and coming upon a group of custodians taking an evening break. He complimented them on the condition of the facilities, and one of the custodians replied, "Well, we're all ministers. When we're cleaning a room at night, we think about what's going to happen there during the day and how we can help serve that aim." They weren't just doing a job. They were offering a service. So what is your ministry? How do you respond to that call of something more? Perhaps it's a mission that you need to fulfill, or a message to learn and then convey. A truth you must witness to, a value you are called to affirm. Perhaps there's a journey that you need to undertake, or a vision that you want to seek and explore. Maybe your ministry involves being present for another person, someone for whom you can make a difference. As leaders, part of our ministries involve enabling others to find theirs. We ask not just, what is my ministry, but what is yours? And how can we help each other in developing these ministries that we share? Strength and spirit grow in a congregation whose members participate in ministry. I don't know what your destiny will be, Albert Schweitzer said, but one thing I do know. The only ones among you who will be really happy are those who will have sought and found how to serve.
When a star is born, they possess a gift or two. One of them is this: they have the power to make a wish come true. When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. If your heart is in your dreams, no request is too extreme. When you wish upon a star, as dreamers do. like a ball out of the blue. Fate steps in and sees you through when you wish upon a star as dreamers do. Steps in and sees you through when you wish upon a star, your dreams come true.
If you all were here in this room right now, I would be asking some questions and looking for a show of hands. Unfortunately, I know that's not possible, so I'm going to imagine that that's what's going on. That each of you are somehow here seated through this weird medium that we're using. And what I want you to think about is how many of you really know what improv is? I know a couple of you know it intimately. I know some of you know it relatively well and have attended some shows. If you haven't, maybe you've seen it happen somewhere else. And if you're not really familiar with what improv is, it is a kind of theater exercise and way of performing, often in which people from the audience make suggestions to the actors about where they are, or who they are, or what they're doing. You might have seen Whose Line Is It Anyway on television, either the British or the American version. I have a soft spot for the British version myself. I know some of you have done improv as games or theater exercises or as part of a show. If you haven't actually done it yourself, think about it as a live version of Mad Libs. That old game in which on a pad of paper you'd have a story, and then there were blanks for nouns and adjectives and adverbs and verbs. And you'd ask people just to give you a noun or a verb or an adjective or an adverb, and they'd fill in the blanks, and then you'd read the story. And the results were often really very funny. Sometimes they'd just be really weird, and occasionally they'd turn out to be surprisingly meaningful. Improv is very much like that, but with acting and real-time adjustments. Not a pre-written script, but just a framework from which anyone can launch the actors into something beyond what anyone might have imagined alone. Improv is at its best when people collaborate, build something together, bringing things that are new and surprising to one another in order to create something that is really funny or really weird and sometimes surprisingly meaningful. The key to good improvisation, no matter what group or combination of people you are in, no matter what the situation or the scene, is that you must be willing to jump in. Bring your creativity. Give it a try. Being shy or reticent, it doesn't work. If you just hang back and wait and wait and wait and never quite jump in, improv is not at its best. You may be familiar with Tina Fey, actress, writer, all-around comedy genius, and she wrote about improvisation in her book, Bossy Pants. The first rule of improvisation is agree. Always agree and say yes. When you're improvising, this means you are required to agree with whatever your partner has created. Start with a yes and see where that takes you. As an improviser, I always find it jarring when I meet someone in real life whose first answer is no. No, we can't do that. No, that's not in the budget. No, I will not hold your hand for $1. What kind of way is that to live? The second rule of improvisation is not only to say yes, but to say yes and. You are supposed to agree and then add something of your own. If I started with a scene saying, I can't believe it's so hot in here, and you just say, yeah, then we're at a standstill. But if I say, I can't believe it is so hot in here, and then you say, well, what did you expect? We're in hell. Or if I say, I can't believe it's so hot in here, and you say, yeah, that can't be good for the wax statues. Or if I say, I cannot believe it is so hot in here, and you say, I told you we shouldn't have crawled into the dog's mouth, now we're getting somewhere. To me, yes and means don't be afraid to contribute. It is your responsibility to contribute. Always make sure you are adding something to the discussion. Your initiations are worthwhile. So here's the thing. Ministry is not that different from an improvisational show. It requires us to collaborate, to play together, to work together, to build upon one another's visions of what is possible and worth creating. If we are to be with one another in a way that is transformative, in a way that might be funny or might be weird or might be meaningful in a way that is more than any one of us can create on our own, we must be able to say yes and to one another as often as possible. Our collective contributions are what make worship and fellowship and service truly worthwhile. Our collective contributions make this experience more than just the added up total of what we bring. They join together to create meaning and power and hope that we never could have done individually. What is connected? What is miraculous? What is holy is found in that and. But what happens without the and? Well, just imagine improvisation just for a moment as though you are in this room with me. Okay, somebody give me a place. Got a place?
The subway stop.
The subway stop? Yeah, no, I don't think so. That sounds really boring. I'm not interested. Well, okay, let's try something else. What about a profession? Is there a profession, maybe?
A dentist.
A dentist? Ugh, mouths, gross. Oh, no, I don't think that's going to work either. It turns out that without the yes and only the no or no you, improvisation fails. It's entirely possible for it to fail. And it doesn't take much. All it takes is me saying no, or whatever, or it's not hot in here, we're in Antarctica. When improv players deny one another's contributions, the scene comes to a screeching halt. There's nothing to do from there. The other thing that can make improvisation fail is extending beyond the available resources or overpromising. Imagine an improv sketch in which all the players are up here on the stage, and one of them says, "Oh, look, here's Queen Victoria with the steam cleaner." And nobody wants to play Queen Victoria. The whole scene is going to collapse unless someone is willing to drop everything else that they've been doing and suddenly become Queen Victoria cleaning the rug. Good improv skills pay attention to the resources at hand, using the gifts and skills of the people present, and being attentive enough to not take it beyond what can reasonably be done with those resources. And this, too, is just like ministry. Not just professional ministry, but our shared ministry. We have to collaborate using our gifts and skills and the people that are here with us. Imaginary queens and imaginary committee members are equally ineffective. Bruce Marshall writes, "Leadership in a Unitarian Universalist congregation involves ministry, and not just the ministry of those who are ordained. Everybody, all of you, have a ministry. So what is yours? And all ministries are not the same. In Paul's letter to the Romans, he observes, we have different gifts based on the grace that was given to us. This just means that we have different talents, different skills, and there are many different ways of having a ministry. So, what is your ministry? What piece of this great work that we are doing together belongs to you? Do you know what it is? I suspect that some of you do know, and that you know it very well. I suspect that for many of you who have been here a while, what your ministry is has changed over time. Perhaps it was hospitality, and then teaching our children, and then taking care of the building or serving on the board. Perhaps it was assisting with worship, and now it's taking care of our members who are in stressful times. And I'm guessing that for some of you, whether you're new or you've been here a while, that question may just be unanswered. And if that's the case, I invite you to spend a little time thinking about it. Or better yet, stop thinking, jump in, try something, and then say yes and while you discover your ministry. My ministry has been to show up on Sunday mornings and smile and be cheerful to the best of my ability. Is that really my ministry? Yes. And I could also become an usher and welcome people to worship more officially. Or my ministry thus far has been to help out with the food ministry now and then. Is that my ministry? Yes, and I could stand to help organize it. With a little friend and a little training, that could be a lot of fun. It might be that your ministry has been to, I don't know, help make sure the building and grounds are well taken care of. And your yes and is saying, that was a great ministry for me to have, and now I'd like to try something different. We have lots of places where we need your ministry, whatever it may be. And if you think you have a ministry inside of you that touches the lives of our children, then you might be the right person to join a Sunday morning teaching team. If you love to listen or cook or organize people to make sure that others have what they need, you might have a ministry of care with our pastoral care team. If you find yourself wondering about the big questions about the institution of this church, how you can help it reach its potential, how you can help it get the resources it needs, and figure out how to plan the budget, you might have a ministry of leadership. The truth is, we need you to say yes and. And we especially need those of you who have been here for a while, but not yet discovered whether you're a duck or a crocoduck, to jump in and find your ministry. You too are part of what we are building together. So we need you in this collaboration. Yes, you. And you. And you. And you too. Certain things do in fact belong to the staff and to me, of course. And if we just gave up and stopped doing those things, you should absolutely ask, I'm sorry, isn't that why we are paying you? But as Sophia Betancourt notes of ministers and religious educators, administrators, musicians, sextons, and anyone else who works at times other than Sunday morning as well, about 90% of the work of ministers and religious professionals is never seen by the vast majority of the community, the classroom, the congregation where they work. So much of professional ministry is about preparation, meetings with small numbers of people, one-on-one support, administration, work with staff, and most of you never actually see those things. And even if ministers excelled as individuals at every one of those responsibilities, there are still not enough hours in the day for the ministers and the religious professionals to fully serve the needs of the church. We are paid to take professional responsibility, but we can't do this work without the rest of the staff and without the rest of the leaders, the volunteers, and all of the rest of you. You are who make this possible. And if you don't claim your places, your ministries in this congregation, we are all poorer for it. Our congregations are diminished. Our improvisations aren't what they could be. When we say no or whatever, all of this can fail. That's why it is our ministry and your ministry. You must say yes if we are to make the most of this place and our experience of it. We are very fortunate in how often many of you say yes. In this past year's pledge campaign and our stewardship drive, there was a lot of yes, and it is making a huge difference in what's possible next year. You'll hear about that after worship today. But it's not just about the pledge drive. It's also about making sure we have what we need to make this place work, especially as we start to come back together once again. We need you to find the places where you will jump in and make a difference. Organizing fellowship hour, helping with the capital campaign that's going to come up in the not terribly distant future, we hope. Organizing fundraisers, perhaps our service auction. And if you don't know how to do any of those things, but there are other things you want to do, or maybe that is what you want to do, but you don't know how to get involved, ask me, please. Stop me in a hallway, write me an email, send me a text message, call me, ask me. Or ask the staff, or the board members, or the membership committee. And some of you have done that. I have appointments, a couple of them, on my calendar to talk about where folks might jump in. But I would love to have a couple of those conversations every week. I would love to be overwhelmed with people who want to help with the time and the gifts that they have. I want to be so busy with all of you finding your places in our community that we have to tell some people, I'm sorry, we don't actually have room on the board next year for all of you, but maybe would you serve the year after? Maybe you'd do something else in the meantime? I would love to be able to say, there are so many things being done already that we'd like you to help us with this dream project that we were not sure we'd ever be able to do. One of the statistics that people often quote about churches is that 20% of the people do 80% of the work. I think we might be a little bit better than that around here, but I would love to buck those stats and spread that 80% even more broadly than 20 or 25 or 30%. We have some folks who have been the usual suspects, who every so often need a little bit of a break. And that's good, because it lets the rest of us own a little more of this place and what we do together. There is space for you to offer your ministry here. All of the gifts that we need to create something even more wonderful than what we have right now, all of that is here. And if not here in this room right now, here more broadly with all of you at home who will hopefully be here again. But all of you who won't be here and still can participate and contribute and add something. You all are the bearers of good things for one another. What you offer makes this place a place of hope and healing and growth. What you offer reveals the nature of the all that is, however you know it, to each of us. We all have ministries that embody the holy, saying yes and, so that what is holy may live within and among us all. May it be so. Blessed be. Yes and. We'll join in singing our closing hymn. If you have your gray hymnal, it is number 124. It's called Be That Guide. As the wise ministry consultant Tina Fey says, don't be afraid to contribute. It is your responsibility to contribute. Always make sure you're adding something to the discussion. Your initiations are worthwhile. Blessed be. Yes, and. And so please, let us speak together our unison benediction. And then, make sure you log into Zoom for our budget ratification meeting. We do need a quorum. Engage with the world in peace. Have courage. Hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all beings. And please remain for our postlude.